This is John Nord The Barbarian, and I'm with Wolfie D, live and in color, brother.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Welcome once again to Live and in Color with Wolfie D and my man Jimmy across the street. And Jimmy, we got some crazy shit going on in this world right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Car-sized drones that nobody seems to know what the hell they are.
Yeah.
That's my biggest one. I'm like, what in the fuck? How does somebody knows.
Right.
These things saying.
Something's got, and I mean, what was it you posted earlier? I saw something about it being maybe from Iran or something.
That's what one of these, it was a New Jersey congressman said he had information, and he wouldn't just say it if it wasn't good, reliable information.
Right.
That there was a mothership off the coast of like Jersey, northeast, and that's where these drones are coming from. And that Iran a month ago launched this thing that they bought from China.
Man.
So, but then the White House spokeslady, she denies it. So I don't know. I don't know why that man would have went out on a ledge that far, put his neck out that far to say that if he didn't know something. I don't know, man. Who knows? We don't know when they're lying to us or not anymore.
We don't. And that's the problem, man. That's the problem with everything is. And then also you come from this profession of wrestling, so you don't believe anybody anyway about anything ever.
Exactly.
But then you add the element of actually they're like lying to our face when we see the truth. That's a different world. I think that's actually gaslighting, or is that? I don't even know what gaslighting is, honestly.
Yeah, I know.
I think I do.
A frequently used word these days, but
yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy, man. How's your week going?
Brother, busy but good. Christmas is coming up. We're trying to get everything figured out with gifts and stuff for family members. Jeez, how about you, man? How about you?
Yeah, and I'm just getting to where I don't want to. It's getting to that part in December where, like, I don't want to go to the stores because it's too crowded.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh no, I don't even want to wait in this line. I don't want to. I don't want to do none of this, but I found out I'm going to have, as long as everything goes through with the insurance, I'm going to go ahead and have my right shoulder worked on, have surgery, because I got the rotator cuff tear, tendonitis, tendinosis, bursitis, and a torn outer head of the bicep, all in my right shoulder. So it's just irritating the crap out of me. And like I told the doctor, she's like, do you want to try therapy first? And we had talked about that. And I'm like, I'm trying to physical therapy myself right now. I said, I said, and every time I do, it just makes it worse, and I know all the exercises to do for it. So she's like, we'll go ahead and fix it up then. So.
Okay. Well, when is that happening?
January 7th. As long as everything goes through, as far as insurance, don't come back and go, well, you got to go to physical therapy first. Try that.
Yeah.
That's how they do sometimes. But.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah. Then we got dudes making guns with printers and, that kind of stuff, man.
Killing CEOs. I mean, and there's a lot of questions with that. Yeah, there's a lot of questions with that in certain instances too, because I know there's something to do. I don't want to get into all that, but anyway, I know there's a lot more stuff there that isn't always like we say. They're
pretty crazy. Told you.
Yeah, but
coming up, we got a crazy one.
Yeah, we definitely do, bro. I'm stoked about it, man. I'm so excited.
I've heard a ton of story. I never met John Nord, but I know people that have, and I've heard the stories about him and everything. So he's an interesting, wild dude, man. I mean, the gimmick, I remember the Berzerker more than I remember the other stuff.
Sure.
But, even that was just, this big crazy dude.
Viking.
Yeah.
Huss.
Yeah. And, this ought to be a good conversation, man. I hope he's open to telling us some stories.
Oh, yeah. Whenever he's on Captain's Corner for a virtual signing, I am always watching that entire thing from front to end because it's he's just, I mean, I'm telling you. And I've got a ton of questions. I know you got some good questions. I'm excited. Let's get him on, man.
Let's do it.
All right. We'll be right back with John Nord, the Barbarian, the Berzerker, whatever you want to call him, on Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
Save big with Kroger's 12 Merry Days of Deals. From December 4th through the 15th, you can clip a hot new deal each day on our app or website. And if you're a Boost member, you can save even more. So don't miss out and be sure to check our app or website every day from December 4th through the 15th to clip each day's hot new deal. It's 12 Merry Days of Deals, a holly jolly way to save for the holidays at Kroger.
Hey folks, to get your official Live It in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to prowrestlingtees.com/live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
All right, guys, we're back and a very special guest today. Heard a lot of stories about this, man, from a good friend of mine, Steve Dahl, who's no longer with us. But, man, he gave me some great stories riding up and down the road about the next guest. And I told you earlier who we had, and it is John Nord, also known as the Barbarian, the Berzerker. Some of you might know that gimmick. I really like that gimmick myself. But how you doing today, John?
Good, Wolfie D. Think about the Doll Man. I call him the Doll Man.
Doll
Man. Doll Man. That's what I called him back then. That's just, I don't know why. It just seemed to fit him. But God bless his soul. Yeah, he was a great guy.
He really was, man.
Yeah, he was good-hearted guy that ever hit the pipe.
Yep, for sure. And let me ask you, before we get going on wrestling stuff, man, I read something recently. I guess back in the summer, you had like a bad infection from a knee surgery. Are you all right?
Oh, yeah. You know what, man? I'm still fighting it. The main thing was I didn't know if I was going to lose my leg or not. And now, I was like 40%, 50%. The doctors are tough. So I was just kind of freaking out. Every day was a day of, am I going to lose it and am I not going to lose it? Well, I had 6 operations. So right now it looks good and I can actually kind of walk on it, but it's got to see how it goes. I'll be in Portland for sure, but I might either be using a walker or hopefully limping on it, but I won't have much of a knee. I won't have much of a knee the rest of my life. Yeah. But the point is I'm glad because I'm grateful. A lot of guys lose their legs on that kind of infection.
Yeah, man.
And it was wickedy, man. It was wicked shit. It was, I was on the ground and I laid there for 16 hours. I felt like I was paralyzed or something.
Oh my God.
And the last thing you think of is an infection,
Yeah.
And, so they got me in the hospital, but then I pretty much all this year I was in the hospital, maybe 6 out of 12 months, so,
Hey.
But I'm feeling good today and the knee's feeling good today. So I think I'm through it, but we'll see.
That's good, man. And I'm glad that you're going to be able to make the Portland show to see all your buddies and reunite with some old friends and all that. I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Portland's going to be a gas. And actually, I'll tell you, and I mean this seriously, I think Portland might be my last show.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Just because I think I kind of ran my gamut on the shows. It ain't 100%, but I'll know in the future. And I got a big suitcase full of stuff that's been given to me over the years. I ain't much of a saver, but I did save some things, and I think I think I'll probably just raffle that off at the Portland show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there too. I like it. Stuff like,
folks, you heard it here. So if you're in the Portland area and you plan on attending this show, this could be the last time that John Nord shows up at any kind of show, and he's going to have some unique items.
That's no bullshit.
Items.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
That's no bullshit.
I wish I would have saved more stuff, man, and I didn't, but whatever.
Right. Ain't that the truth? You wish you would have saved your boots and your fur.
It didn't mean nothing to me at that point. It's like,
you're just gonna, that's right. Well, and not so much that you just look at it like who thinks there's going to be an internet in the future?
That's absolutely true. And
that's the main
conventions. Thing. These conventions have blown up like crazy.
And the promoters running these deals, and if don't get me wrong, if I don't foresee it happening, but like I know a good buddy of mine's the Undertaker, and I guess they're going to be in here WrestleMania Minneapolis 2027. Does that sound right?
Cool. Okay. Yeah. I think
so. I know that. I know that if somebody hooks me up with him, or I hook myself up with him, that might be another last show. But otherwise, I think Portland might be the last. So I don't know, but I'm excited about it because my buddy, the Grappler. And all you guys, it's going to be it's just going to be a heck of a good time, and we'll crank it up. And these fans, as far as that goes, to the Pacific Northwest territory, I mean, this could be the last hurrah for them. You never know. This is the mothership, like Dusty would say, right?
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I know you guys are going to have a blast. Jimmy, why don't you give the listeners the rundown again on everything?
Yeah, so of course that's February 22nd, Saturday, the Portland Wrestling Expo, brought to you by our good buddy Captain's Corner, Captain Nick, and that's at the Holiday Inn Portland Airport, 8439 Northeast Columbia Court, Portland. You're going to get to hear all the guests we've had recently, the Grappler, Ricky Santana, Mean Mike Miller, and you're also going to get this man right here. You're going to get to see John Nord, and that's awesome, man. So
so hey,
we'll have some great stories too, believe me, and they'll get a little edgy, so you might want to shuffle out some of the kids for at least for a few minutes.
This show, we don't stop nothing. You say what you want on here.
yeah.
But hey, so I want to just kind of start from the beginning, man, with you. You're a big dude, man. So pretty much say you were an athlete all your life. True or false?
Yeah, true. I always wanted to be a pro football player, and I grew up to be 6'5". I ended up playing a little college football at Montana State. And then I went and played, if you remember, you young guys, the New Jersey Generals, Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
So I played with Hirsch for a year. I was left tackle, and he was an amazing athlete. He don't get the press like that Bo Jackson, but I'll tell you something, Herschel Walker is everything Bo Jackson was. He was a freak, man. I'd be on Giant Stadium turf. That's where we'd practice, and man, my first day of practice, I heard this. I said, well, what the hell is that noise? I've never heard that noise before. So I look over, and it's Herschel running,
Oh, my God.
I mean, you're running a 4.2 at 2 1/4, So that really don't mix. That's like freaky, and a great guy. Used to go out to eat with them and stuff. And actually, for wrestlers, that's where I met Steve Williams, Dr. Death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So me and Doc slammed a lot of beers.
Was Marcus Dupree on that team as well?
No.
Okay.
No, he wasn't. Marcus, I think he was still at
Oklahoma.
Man, what is Hattiesburg? Mississippi.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think he was. But anyways, I met Doc there. And, fast forward 2 years, not quite, I walk in the Mid-South Wrestling room, and there's Doc. And I say, hey, it's you, man, the guy with the big gut and the veiny legs. Doc was a freak that way because here he walks around with his gut, but he had veiny, athletic legs with cross striations. And you're like, that don't mix. I don't get it. And God bless his soul, too. He died, December 30th, 2009, I believe. And Doc was such a hell of a guy, man.
Yeah.
Doc would always say, oh, he was a great athlete. He'd always say, hey, man, what would Doris Day say? Hey, sarah. That's Doc, talk like that. Hey, man, what are we gonna? Man, you were messed up last night, man.
I tell you, one of the most impressive things that I remember seeing him do was in that War Games match when he was press slamming Terry Gordy for repetitions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. And that's right. I forgot about that. I think I did see that actually.
Man. He had him full extension and everything was because that cage height was a little bit low, and he every time he'd take him up, Terry's back would hit the top of the cage. Bam, bam, bam.
Oh, nice. You know what's crazy? And I'll make this short, but when Doc. We were both playing for the Generals. Now we're going full. We're going to do a full scrimmage this particular day. Mm-hmm. And there was an old tackle that really didn't like Doc. And Doc came down. He was playing nose guard, and he came down on this guy's knee, not on purpose. And all of a sudden, this guy starts screaming. His name was Greg Murtha. He was from Minnesota, but he played for the Eagles. Anyways, he starts screaming. He goes down. Somebody knew something bad happened. I mean, then he starts screaming, he did it on purpose. That fucker did it on purpose. And I'm just standing there going, whoa, what happened, man? And Doc came down on this guy's knee. Well, the next day, Doc was cut.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the first thing Doc said to me when I seen him in Mid-South in 85 when I had been in the business 6 months. And he said, hey, man, how about them fuckers, man? They cut me the next day, man. So that's my Steve Williams. I love him. I love Doc. Yeah.
So how did you go from did you pursue wrestling or did wrestling pursue you? Sometimes that happens.
I think it might have pursued me a little bit, but I'll tell you what, my wife that I was married to for 25 years, her father was Vern Gagne's best man.
Okay.
So they all grew up in Robbinsdale, went off to war. They graduated Robbinsdale High School in 1943, and they went off to war together, Vern and then my father-in-law. So I had an in, but I didn't even know I had an in. I didn't even realize that, geez, maybe I should drop a name, but I didn't. I never did until I got to end a wrestling camp. Then I did. I said, I think I know my father-in-law. Vern said, who's that? I said, Joe Elson. What? You're going to... So that's why Vern, all the messed up shit I did, Vern never did fire me. Shit. I no-showed 3 times. That's not a good thing to no-show. No. And he never would fire me, and I wasn't consciously pushing the envelope. I just didn't care because there wasn't a lot of money there at the time. I just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So... But anyways, yeah.
Minnesota guys, man, there's so many that came out of Minnesota. Three of my favorites, man, Road Warriors and Kurt Hennig. You got any good Road Warrior stories, man?
Easy to say. Well, I got, Joe Laurinaitis. I love Joe. He was super good, giving guy, would do anything for anybody. He's from Irondale, so he was kind of maybe 5 miles away. But Mike Hegstrand Hawk was a great, really good friend growing up. But Hawk Kurt was actually, but Hawk became a good friend in high school, but Kurt was since we were in 7th grade. Wow. And Kurt Hennig, I remember one time we're in 7th grade and opening up our lockers. He goes, Kurt says, guess who I'm going up to Duluth with tomorrow? I says, who? He goes, Superstar Billy Graham. I said, and we used to talk like him. In 7th grade, we used to talk like Billy. You understand? You just you're going up to Duluth. You understand? Yeah. So here we are, these 7th grade towheads talking like this, So, but anyways, fast forward. Now we're in 10th or 11th grade, and I guess in some ways we kind of looked alike because we were tall, thin, sandy brown hair, And Hawk is driving through Robbinsdale McDonald's, and he's like one street over from Robbinsdale, so you don't really fit in. So Kurt goes over there and punches him through the window that was down. And all you know is Mike said, and then Kurt does the Kurt Hennig deal. He runs, and Hawk gets out. I'm gonna fucking kill you, bro. So he thought it was me. Here's a catch-all. He thought it was me. So Norton and Hegstrand, this is 100% true story on my kids.
I believe it.
Hegstrand and Norton come over that Monday to Robbinsdale High School because they went to Henry, Norton and Hegstrand, and they're looking for me to fight me, And the principal comes up to me, John, there's a couple of guys out there that I don't think they're your friends. He says. I said, who the hell? And I looked out, and I said, hey, and I started walking towards them guys like, what the fuck do you want? What's your fucking problem? And then the principal, shuffled them out of the school. You can't just barge in a frickin' school,
Right.
Much less that, even those days, but much less nowadays. You couldn't even get by the radar or whatever. But but I got, I can tell you this, the guys, Hennig, Hegstrand, Scott Simpson, Zink, it goes on and on. Barry Darso. I mean, these guys, Rick Rule. Rick was our wide receiver, and Barry was our linebacker. Rule was. And these guys were the greatest guys in the world to grow up with. We had more damn fun, and we were always super loyal to each other. And I think that's the reason that we all kind of stayed in the same profession and got each other jobs and all that. And but I say, people ask, how'd you get in pro wrestling? I got to say probably Kurt Hennig. Because Kurt went to Brad Rankins and said, hey, Nord, you got to get this guy in. He's a great guy. He's a fun as hell, and he's perfect for this business. And so I went to Brad's camp then, which was his first camp. And Brad Rankin's first camp was, Rob Rick Steiner was in there, and man, we were going 30-second full goals, Wow. And there was a lot of eagles flying around, and there was no problem if you were going to fist fight, because I wanted to get in bad. There was nothing going to stop me. And other guys were thinking the same way, and then about half the guys quit. So they knew. About half the guys, I think, walked out because they just, no, this is a little too much. And there was a guy named Rick Perozzi, and from Robbinsdale was a tough kid, Matt Johnson. They never stayed in it, but they were tough kids. And Brad Olympian. You can imagine how tough he is. I mean, he's off the pale. He'd be I call him toughest guy of everybody. In wrestling. But he don't look like it. That's all. Yeah, I call him the Wolf Man.
Those are the dangerous ones, man. Those are the dangerous ones. Those are the guys you run your mouth to at the gas station, and then they clean your clock.
Right. And they, they know submission, and they know judo. And next thing you know, you've got your elbow in your ass. And but Brad wasn't like that. I still talk to him every day. And then. But he's a great guy. He's 71. I think he's 71 in 2 more days. Yeah.
Wow.
That's just the part of that that's so cool to me, though, is just thinking about all you guys being on the football team together and shit. That's pretty damn.
Oh yeah, we went crazy. And that way, there's one guy named Mike Hulk that was a 2-time world champ on the team, and he was on our wrestling team, and. We had a lot of, but it was fun. And don't bullshit yourself. The thing we looked forward to most of all, period, nothing was even close, was getting shit-faced on Friday night. Period. End of report. In reality, that's what it was. Now, you can say it was other things, but that's just bullshit. What kept us clicking, what kept us chugging was Friday night, we're going to get hammered.
Nice.
And there was a lot of good-looking girls from Robbinsdale, I got to say, because I think we graduated 900, but God, there was a lot of good-looking girls.
That doesn't hurt, right?
Hurt. No, that don't hurt at all. But there's so I've told them I feel like I've told them too many times too, the stories, but they're just great. Me and Barry Darso once were just sitting there drinking in my Dodge Trademan 3 on the tree van, and said, "Should we go down to Daytona Beach?" He goes, "Yeah." So we just left. Shit, we had a Sears charge card. We had to stop in Rockford, Illinois, and buy these large shorts where our butts were hanging out, and we're walking on around the beach. We got no money. We got a wire for money. We got, it's just the crazy stuff you do. But I had a lot of good stories with Mike Hagstrand too. Mike was Joe, and even Joe. First met Joe. He was from the other high school, and he kind of followed us guys around a little bit, And Joe was a pretty good football player. Played with our buddy Bomber Johnson, who played for the Dolphins, and so anyways, long story short, we got so many stories. Shit, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
That's awesome, man. Because, like I said, when I was a kid, I loved those two, the Road Warriors. I loved them. When I met them and got to work with them, it was even better, man. I was like, these dudes are cool as shit.
Yeah.
And I haven't. I'll tell you one because you'll probably pop for this, and I haven't told this story quite a while on the show. But it was after a WWF show, and we went just the 4 of us, me and my partner Jamie Dundee and Joe and Mike, and went to this little dive bar, and I think it was in Chicago. But anyway, there wasn't hardly nobody there but us, and for some reason, Joe and Jamie, they wasn't drinking or nothing. They were just bullshitting. Me and Hawk are getting fucked up. I mean, fucked up. Yeah. So by the end of the deal, we're sitting at the bar, and I'm like almost in tears telling him how he's the one that made me want to be a wrestler, and we're hugging each other. He's hugging me and telling me that so much to him. I mean, damn near falling off the stools, man. And
and Mike is such a hell of a guy. He'll cry with you.
Yeah. Joe told Jamie, he said, "You get the little one, I'll get the big one."
You talking about Jamie Hayter, Jamie, or no?
No, Jamie Dundee, Bill Dundee's son.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jamie! Oh, really? Okay, I don't know if I remember him.
You would remember,
partner. But anyway, I love those guys, man. They were great.
Oh, they were, and they they popped the whole scene, you know.
Oh,
and
man. Incredible.
And yeah, and you know, here I am. I remember down in Louisiana, I was with Jake Roberts for a year, and I remember that I didn't even know there was such a thing as territories. You know, I'm just there. I'm there really just to party. You know, if wrestling happens, that's fine. But wrestling kind of was like a part-time deal for me. It was great, but I wasn't there I was there for the party. I wasn't there to watch films on myself. How could I get to be a better pro wrestler? How could I get to enhance my gimmick? I never once thought of that because I was there for the party all the way. And now the Road Warriors, it just was in the stars. They didn't necessarily try super hard either, but it just came the first time around. Boom. Right. And there they were. And that's pretty cool. But we were at the Superdome. I know that it was me and Jake versus the Snowman and Muhammad Ali in the corner. And that was a big deal, you know. And I remember meeting all Muhammad Ali and going, and he's going, man, I watched you on this morning. So it was a Sunday, you know, and his hand was kind of shaking. But he shook my hand. I thought, God, that's really cool. Mom, you see me on Sunday morning. And then he went up to Jake and just shook his hand, kept going. So then I hear Jake doing a podcast. Now I hear Jake doing a podcast. He says, man, Muhammad came in and came right up to me and said, man, you're really smart, man. You're really going to be something. I heard him say this. Jake. Yeah, I heard him say this. Jake, what a fucking Jaime. What a fucking Jaime. You know, he twisted shit up. First of all, he came up to me first and said, I seen you this morning on TV. Second of all, then he went over to Jake and just fucking Jake don't look like a pro wrestler. He looks like a fucking tall convenience store guy. You know. Oh man. You know, and I love Jake. Me and Jake are good friends, you know. Fuck, my wives were down there watching it together, and you know, we'd have steak over at Jake's townhouse and all that, but you know, this fucking Jake guy, he can twist the story to shit. And and actually, Jake, I had him up here in Maple Grove, and it's actually on the internet, I think. But we brought him up. I brought the grappler up, and Jake paid Jake $1,000, paid the grappler $500. This is 1999 to raise money for the wrestling team at my nephew's school. Well, I pulled it off. I got both of them to commit, the rings up, everything. Well, I'm at Applebee's, and Jake goes, hey, man, I need the money first. I said, really, Jake? Okay. So I gave him the $1,000. Well, me and Lenny are best friends anyways, the grappler, so we're just running around. So I gave him the $1,000. Well, what do you think Jake does?
Probably. I know.
He goes out and buys the crickety crap. Right? So now Jake comes back to the high school. Luckily, their main event, but luckily the grappler can have a match with anybody. You know what I mean? So, or at least kind of a match, Lenny. Right. But because Lenny's a master at the shit, he was able to work around it. But Jake's got his boot off, throwing up in his boot. Oh, he was throwing up on the floor. This is a true story. I says, if anybody's got that VHS of that, please, you'll make some money. And he's throwing up on the floor, this, that, and the other. He slid out of town, never said he was sorry or nothing. But that's okay. That's the boys. Hey, that's the boys. I get it. I fucked up before, but it ain't like me and Jake are at odds right now at all. No. Yeah. He's just, Jake is Jake, and he likes to embellish things where he looks great.
That's just old school Carney. You know that.
That's old school. Yeah. I call him the tall convenience store worker. Yeah, that one hurts, don't it, Jake?
Hey, Jimmy, let me come across the ring and make a hot tag to you, buddy.
Oh, well, I'm super glad to have a hot tag here. Okay, all right. There's two things. Obviously, we got to talk Portland, but there's two guys I want to talk about. One of them is Brody, and the other is Fuji. I know Fuji's going to close the show. It'll be over after you tell stories about Fuji. I want to ask one really quick question, okay, for inquiring minds. Who did the Huss first? Did John Nord do it, or did Brody do it?
Frank Brody did it first. In 80, Frank Brody did it first in 85.
Okay, gotcha.
I was with New Japan, and it was 85, fall of 85, and I chummed up to him real quick. And
sure, yeah.
And I says, how long you been just doing that noise you make? I didn't even know what it was, And he says, brother, I just started that tonight. He says, I don't know. You go, there's most of it's just my breathing going, just being out of air, Yeah, he started that first.
Well, okay. So I was just curious. Okay, so the other question, Brody, man, like, talk about Frank a little bit. And I hate to even call him Frank because I didn't know him like you.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I mean, you guys were so. I mean, I know that Ron and Don Harris kind of took that gimmick a little bit and did it a little bit up at WWE.
Yeah.
But to me, I mean, I know Brody made so much money in Japan, right? That's what probably kept
$14,000 a week.
Yeah. So there you go.
And that was back in 85.
Was there ever I mean, especially the dominant tag teams, and I know you tagged together. That's not a question. Was there ever conversation with WWE or anybody like that as far as bringing you two in as a tag team?
Well, for sure it was. It was spring of 88, and he died of July 88. Yeah. And it was spring of 88, and Frank and me would play phone tag and that, and it says, hey, and Frank first brought it up first. He says, hey, brother, I got a offer, or not an offer, but just a subject matter of that me and you come to work for Vince. We could probably make a pretty good deal. And he goes, the problem is, John, I'm making $14,000 a week in Japan, and that might be light, but I know for sure he made 14.
Wow.
I was there when him and Snuka and him walked off the train too, that tour on the tag team tour. I was standing right there. But anyways, he goes, hey man, you want to, I mean, I had been doing a lot of independent shots with Frank, like Windy City Wrestling, and we did the one Little Falls, Minnesota. I mean, we were bouncing everywhere, but he goes, so anyways, he says, hey, he calls me back. He says, listen, Vince made an offer. He goes, I'll be honest with you, brother. I'm just kind of laughing at it because I just, no way I'm going to switch. I can't work for, a guy for that. But they offered us each $250 a year plus royalties. And that in 1988, when you're a guy like me, not used to making $14,000 a week in Japan. Yeah, like, please, Frank, please, Frank, you can do it. You can do this. And anyways, long story short, they even sent us contracts. And I had my contract for so many years in my suitcase. And then I've tried finding it, but it's not bullshit. It's a real deal. And so at $250 a year, but another good thing on that, we didn't have to work more than 140 nights a year, I think it was. So that wasn't that much.
Yeah, no.
140 a year really ain't that much. When I was
not for
out there, when I was out there, I know one year I did 280 for sure. Kurt Hennig did 302.
Wow.
And, I mean, it was unbelievably, they just ran you to death. And of course, you guys know all this, but the main thing is we did get offered that, and that was a real deal. And, we just thought, hey, well, we got nothing but time. And we didn't know, we didn't have nothing but time when Frank got murdered, so it's a sad thing, but I'll tell you what, Frank was such a private guy, but he let me in his own little world. I talked to Barbara about it, and she said, I remember Frank talking about that, and I never remember seeing a contract. And, I suppose because Frank wiped his ass with it. I mean, really, how you gonna be? He's making and number two. Guess what? Frank Goodis loved Japan.
Yeah.
He loved going in his own little world, walking the streets of Tokyo and going to Ribera, and he just loved it. And because he was a true movie star over there,
Right.
Some guy was starting to etch out to make a cartoon of him too.
Oh, wow.
That was right. That's a true story too. That's right on the brink of happening was a cartoon. So he had a lot in the fire. That's why he wouldn't commit. But see, with Vince, if things would have went, he would have committed, and we would have went there. It could have made him way more money,
Oh,
But that's just looking back.
You kind of got to look at his style and everything. Would Vince have tried to have, reined him in, calmed him down, and that would have pissed Brody off, and he would have left? Is kind of my thinking on it. I don't know. You knew him better than I do, because I never.
Probably. Yeah. Probably. I agree. Probably. But I'll tell you what, Frank had a different side to him that was just like when he would go into Vern Gagne's for a shot, he would kiss Greg's ass. Well, who kisses Greg Gagne's ass? Not Frank Brody. Wrong. He actually does, because he's showing you how to do it. He's showing you this is how you do it. You play their game, game. Now stick it to them and say, this is what I want, or I'm gone.
Yeah.
And then they gotta, if you're filling up the Civic Center, you gotta play, that's how Frank did it. That was his natural way to do it. And then that's the way he'd probably do it with Vince's. But Vince, it didn't matter anyways, and Frank didn't see all this internet. He didn't see all this, all the stars and all this and that, how wrestling changed, But Frank was a, most people think he was a badass more than an athlete. But the truth is, he was more of an athlete than a badass.
Really?
I mean, there's plenty of guys that I know that I would pick over Frank in a fight.
Really?
But athletically, he was the real deal, man. He was an athletic dude. He could, he could dunk a basketball. But his hands and forearms kind of remind me of Danny Hodge. I heard those wrestlers that wrestled Hodge, and they were amateur guys, and said, God, every time I wrestle that Hodge, there's bruises all over me from him gripping me.
Really?
And that's how I would say. That's how I would say Frank was. His hands and forearms, and he was super strong. He just wanted, when he wanted to get you up, you were going up.
Yeah. That's good,
man.
But what a guy was saying. Yeah, he was, and he loved his little kid. He loved that Jeff. And I remember being at the airport when him and Snuka walked off the plane, and Barbara will actually confer to this. He was, hey, Daddy, I'm standing there. He said, what kind of, no, Daddy did not have a good tour. He said, well, because he walked off. Well, sure enough, that was in Los Angeles, because we were parting way. I was going to Minneapolis through Los Angeles. He was going to San Antonio. But long story short, boy, they delivered him his money, hand tight in a in a suitcase right to the door.
Wow.
So,
wow. I mean, what do you think there would have been an opening for him to also work Japan with WWE? I mean, just from your experience, especially when you get there.
Yeah, if any guy could have pulled it off, he could have. Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Definitely. If anybody could have pulled that off, it would have been him. But he would have, understand this, he would have had to get over first, because people in the WWF didn't even know who Frank Brody was. I'm not saying we're super hardcore wrestling fans,
Yeah.
But once he would get over and they would see what an actual force he was, because I know, as much as I love Joe and Mike, I remember Frank going to me, I'd love to get with them Road Warriors. We'd kick their ass. And, that's the kind of shit he'd say to me. Yeah. That's the kind of shit he'd say to me. And Mike was such a great guy, not as much as Joe was probably like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. And Mike would probably talk about it and go, oh, well, we give you fucking everything we could for your money, or how do you know that? You don't know that. And Joe probably just more quiet, like, I better bow out of this because I'm not really that tough a guy type thing, And Joe probably could have been. He just didn't have it in his head where he was tough. He didn't want to be tough outside the ring.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write 1 million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
At Sierra, discover joyous deals on great gifts for everyone on your list. Like cozy slippers, ski gear, fishing poles, bikes, large kayaks, even larger canoes. Whew, which might lead to another discovery. Wrapping gifts is the only sport you need to stay fit this season. 'Tis the season to discover great gifts at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
The Portland Wrestling Expo will take place on Saturday, February 22nd at the Holiday Inn Portland Airport. The PWE will be a celebration of the unique past and present of the Pacific Northwest area. It's presented by Captain's Corner. Announced guests include the Grappler, Mean Mike Miller, Top Gun, Ricky Santana, Moondog Moretti, John Nord, and C.W. Bergstrom. There will even be a Portland Wrestling History Q&A. In addition, there'll be international guests such as Hall of Famers Eric Bischoff, Rikishi, crowd favorites like The Boogeyman and Lance Von Erich. Make sure to head on over to pwexpo.com to get your tickets. VIP tickets are already half sold. The Portland Wrestling Expo on Saturday, February 22nd. Be there.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means. It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop last-minute deals now.
This episode is brought to you by NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. There's a lot to be thankful for this season. For one, I'm thankful you can get NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV right now for only $209. That's exactly what you need as we head right into the playoffs. You can invite your friends over. Maybe you have a multi-view. You could have 4 different games, one for you, one each for the 3 other friends you invite. You can change the games around as soon as a game, the outcome becomes pretty certain. dump that game, but in another one. I've become the multi-view master. The moment the one of the games is losing steam, I'm ready to move right in and move it for another one. Build your own multi-view. One of my favorite words. Thank yourself this holiday season. Get NFL Sunday Ticket for the rest of the NFL regular season for just $209. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Terms and embargoes apply. Device and content restrictions apply. No cancellations.
Was Rick Rude really the toughest out of all of them?
Fuck no. Let me fucking get that clear. Let me get that clear. I love Rick Rude. I grew up with him, but he would have got dusted so hard. Now, if Rick would have caught you, he's like Mike Higston. If he would have caught you with a right hand, and you know how fights are, you guys. Whoever gets the first two punches in, whoever gets the first two shots in is probably going to win. And Rick hit like a mule, and Mike hit like a mule. But after that, if you don't know body position and a little bit of amateur wrestling and all that, things could go south on you real quick. Yeah. And I said that like I don't love Rick. I loved Rick. He was a good, very good, awesome friend of mine, and he'd do anything for you too. And same as Mike, but Rick's just overdone on how tough he was. He just is. If he was here sitting right now, he'd probably go, well, I was pretty tough. But he was, you know what I mean? He was tough. Hell yes, he was tough as hell, but he wasn't tough in a sense. Who's coming out of the room? Here's two guys, throw them in a room. Who's coming out? Rick probably wouldn't have came out unless he knocked the guy out and got in the first shot. But that's no guarantee getting in the first shot. You might got the other guy just diving in for a single.
Yeah.
You know, so Rick didn't really care to hear it that much, but a lot of guys say, you know, I was just talking to a bunch of Robbinsdale guys got together a couple times this year, and that got brought up, and they go, and the guys are scratching their head and go, Rick's the toughest? Are they fucking nuts? You know? But he was a tough, he was a tough dude, but there's so much more to the story than being tough like that, you know. Right. You guys know that.
Yeah.
That Grandma B's sounds like damn Roadhouse. Every time I hear a story about Grandma B's, you know, it sounds like a chop shop.
You guys do hear it all, don't you? You guys do hear it all, son of a gun. Yeah, Grandma B's was buddies of ours were Italian dudes, Benacasas. They opened up this bar on the Mississippi right outside Minneapolis, and it was in the years of just beating guys to death almost. I mean, it was almost just sick in some ways, because now you'd be in prison, you know.
Right.
You couldn't. There was a lobby, and you go upstairs to see the dancers, downstairs to drink or have food, and food was everywhere. But Nancy, Rick's sister, she was a dancer, and she was fun to look at. And then the other bouncers there were so many of them, you know, that for a while you just, you know, I mean, I don't know what we got when we didn't get paid shit. I think we got paid $40 each a night, you know, I mean, just nothing. And Al Blake was a monster. I don't know what his gimmick was. He did some Russian deal or something I think he was in the business for like a month. But anyways, yeah, I mean, if you in the lobby, if you've seen some of the guys' faces disintegrating, it was horrible. You know, it really was, man. It was not a nice place to be. And that goes for Rick, Mike, you know, I mean, they both worked there. Joe, Barry Darso, Wayne Bloom. I mean, it goes on and on. Ty Zink didn't work there, but a couple other guys did. I forgot who they were, but yeah, crazy. But I always liked I always liked grabbing the room where the strippers changed to make sure nobody would come in.
Yeah, of course. Got to protect them, right?
And to see, oh God, yeah, the muffs were incredible. So, they really were. If any good memory I got of Grandma B's, it's the red muff, the brown muff, the chestnut brown muff. It was just beautiful.
There's a rumor that your vest was made of that. That's not.
Yeah, well, I wish it was. Because me and Kurt would be going down the road henning, and that son of a bitch, we would laugh so hard. We were both cut out of the same mold. He was a Bush guy. I was a Bush guy. It was about the Bush. It was about the Bush. And we just loved it. And me and Kurt would stare at each other and go, did you just see that Bush? Unbelievable. But Kurt, Kurt was a really fun guy. We got caught stealing beer out of this warehouse, and we both run. Kurt was faster, so I'm running to Kurt's house, and I'm behind him by maybe a block. He gets home. The cops had already called Kurt's house and informed the Axe that your son just got caught stealing beer at Olympia warehouse. And his mom, Eileen, was there. So I got to the door just thinking, I'm safe. So I walk in Kurt's little 3-bedroom Rambler house, and I come in, and the Axe is throwing Kurt down the stairs. He's so pissed off. Now this ain't the first time Kurt's been in trouble. This is becoming a habit of his son. And the Axe just snapped, and he threw him all the way down where he didn't even touch a step. And what was funny, Kurt would always say, well, that's where I learned that whirly twirl bump. So I always thought that was funny. He said, that's where I learned that whirly twirl bump. And then all of a sudden the Axe looked at me and goes, John, leave. Yes, sir, I did. And turned right around and walked out. But if Kurt was with us today, if you asked, where did you learn that whirly twirl bump? He'd tell you.
That's awesome. I know exactly which bump you're talking about, too.
Yeah. It's all of his bumps are whirly twirl, actually. So right. But yeah, and oh my God, Darso, and it was too good to be true. And I'll tell you what, growing up, just in those years, small town America, Midwest America, the phone didn't matter because you didn't have cell phones, so you could go and get in trouble and get back home and still make it, even though you were in trouble. Nobody's calling on cell phones, and it was constant keggers in these little woods that were around, and we're walking around, we're mooning people, we're pulling our pants down, the whole thing.
What has happened to the great American childhood, man?
No, man, right. And then I remember once, when now we're like in 8th grade. I think Kurt is still trying to talk like Dusty. I said, yes, you're in the team. You come off the top rope on a man's esophagus, baby. And he's talking like that, and then I'm talking like that. That's right, Curtis Mayhem. You go just like that, baby. You want to just get funky like a monk. We're doing this shit in 8th grade, and everybody goes, what's that? You guys talk like you got shit in your mouth. What's the problem? And me and Kurt just laughed at him, go, because that's what we do, brother. We talk like we got shit in our mouths. You understand? You got to know. And anyways, he said that Superstar Graham in 7th grade, he was going up to the loop. He goes, I go, what did he say? He goes, the only thing he kept saying was he wanted to stop at a gas station every corner, and he goes, a man's got to eat his pastries. So that was a big one on me and Kurt. We go, you understand, man's got to eat his pastries. So
that's funny.
That is, oh man.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, so we were saying that at our kitchen table with our moms. Our mom's going, "What the fuck? What do you mean? Yeah, I'll go get you some rolls. What do you boys want? Some rolls and some pastries? Yes, mother. You understand? You go get some pastries." You know, so
oh
that's
man,
funny shit. You know, yeah.
Well, we better talk some Portland here, shouldn't we? You want to talk some Portland?
Yeah, let's do it.
So let me
you
ask
guys
you.
Want?
Yeah. So what was your relationship with Don Owens like?
Oh, Don was old as hell by the time I knew him in 88, 89.
Yeah.
90, maybe a little bit. And he was old, but he was fun. He was a great guy. He was a typical iconic promoter. Just and his own style. He was the Vern Gagne of except he wasn't a wrestler. He was the Vern Gagne of Northwest Pacific Wrestling, and it was and he was just funny as hell. He'd come up and goose you, and he was the last guy he was the last of the promoters where me and the grappler would sit up right in front of his desk and go, "Okay, shut the door here." And Don's got our envelopes, and we're going, "No, Don, we got shut the door, please." So they shut the door. Me and Lenny now are peeking in our envelope. Now we're staring at Don, and we're shaking our head going, "That ain't going to work, Don." And he's going, "You son of a bitches. What the fuck do you want? What the fuck? That's twice what I paid the guys years ago." And we're going, "It ain't going to work, Don." Me and Lenny are tapping each other's toes together, you know, going a little more. And I think we started on a good house. I think we started at 600-700. Then the next thing you know, we were getting at 900 a G. But it took a lot of group. And he just had so much money then. It was the right time to do it. He was a retired rich rancher.
Oh,
and he really didn't care, but it was principle to him that he's paying too much. I remember him, and he's got Separati Piper, you know.
Yeah.
Separati so that's just that was fun. That was really fun doing that to Don, because you're like, God, that's old school, man. I love that. That's like making a car deal, you know. Right?
I gotta tag back in real quick.
Yeah,
I gotta
tag
ask
in.
the question before we
Of course.
this one down.
Of course.
The question that I've asked everybody, John, that's a Portland guy.
Yeah.
So I met Billy Jack Haynes in Memphis when I worked Memphis. He came through there in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
I knew then that this dude was nuts. You know what I'm saying? I could just tell.
Well, you do know what? Yeah.
So give me your Billy Jack stories, or what do you think about what's happened to him now? You know.
Oh my God! I seen a picture of him. He looks like he's got white long hair and he's a grandma or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's just that crazy to do something like that. When I met him, when I was going to work with him, one day I was on the airplane and Barry Dyson saved my life, and he's lisping and he's spitting and he's, you know, I mean, he's a tough kid, man. He's a tough son of a bitch, you know, and anybody's going on and on about this different shit and just acting nuts. And I worked with him, and he was a good boxer or something once, because I could feel it, you know. And we're trading off working punches. Next thing I know, they're real punches. And we're just going blow, 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 blow. And I knew it was just a plain all right fist fight to the head, you know. And the fans, that type of deal. But I personally just had nothing, but I just didn't want to be around them. You know,
that seems to be the main thing that everybody says. That's the main answer, I think, is I just kind of distanced myself. I could tell he was crazy. And I basically why I asked that question is because I swear, man, when I tell you, when I met him, and I'd seen him as a kid, you know, on TV and stuff, but then I met him working. And that dude that looks like that and laughs like that, there's something fucking up in that head.
Really bad. And he got a push to this, you know. And he got a usually promoters or the boys will sniff it out that this guy don't belong in this business. But he still got a push with this, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, you can. I remember once he came up and gave me all that shit. I said, don't give me all that folksy talk shit. I don't want to hear about, how the brother heard nothing but good things about you. Brother, I tell you, brother, I love you very much. I love you. I said, cut the folksy shit. I don't need it, And I said it kind of being funny, but I said it also seriously, like, don't give me all that folksy shit. I don't like it. It tells a phony, right? It tells a phony right away, don't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, the time he was going to Pearl Harbor Lenny, that's another story. You heard about that, right?
I think he told us that. Yeah, he told us that.
Yeah, that grappler. Well, there you go. That's what kind of fucking guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what kind of guy. And that if that would have been the case, I would have fucking strangled him if he would have took one fucking move on the grappler, because Lenny's too great a guy to fucking even think about that. But you know what? Somehow you live like that. You can say all the right things and try to get by and do all this and get over, but still end up in prison the rest of your life because you were damned to it. You were damned to it. You were bound to it. When you act like that, you're going to end up in prison the rest of your life. You murder your wife. I guess you do, because that's how fucking nuts he was.
Yeah.
I can't see him bucking up on you though, John. I just can't see him doing that.
He didn't. Well, and I was in good shape. It depends who shows up in good shape. There's been a time when me and Brody one time at, I think it was Windy City, we both looked at each other like, fuck, are we out of shape? We've been doing nothing but drinking. We've been doing nothing but drinking. Fuck, our tits are sagging. We each weigh 270 instead of 300 and got gas and can go, and can go and all that. And Billy, as far as I know, he never got like that. I think he was always on the gas, pretty heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember telling him in Portland, I said, listen, fucker, in this boxing little deal we're going to do, I said, if you do hit me with one, don't worry. I'm taking an eye on the way down, so you'll be a one-eyed motherfucker your whole life. So he laughed. He actually laughed at that, but I was serious too, because I knew he was off kilt, and I had to be ready. And it ended up being good.
I tell you who I seen buck up on him one night was Tracy Smothers. We was in a 10-man cage match tag thing or whatever, and Billy hit him with a chair. Yeah, Billy hit him with a chair all jacked up, like he didn't hit him good. And Tracy grabbed him and started. They weren't shoot punches, but they weren't working punches either, and Billy didn't do nothing about it. He knew. Yeah. I guess he knew he kind of fucked up, and he took it. But Tracy would fire up on you. That's another one. I love him to death.
Yeah, Tracy's a tough fuck. Yeah, I could see that happen. That's actually a good example of how shit goes with Billy. He'll pound some guy that he knows he's got, but then if he's got some guy that maybe he ain't sure on, he'll back off.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't stand. I mean, listen, I got compassion. The guy's in prison the rest of his life. It kind of gets a knot in your stomach, even. It's pitiful. It's sorrowful. It's pathetic. But if you're in pro wrestling, you're either one of the boys or you ain't. And there ain't no fucking in between, my friend, because, I told, my son's a wrestling coach at Columbia University, and he wrestled for the University of Minnesota, and he's 6'5". He's a big kid, nice kid, this and that. And I tried fucking even kind of tell your own kids this shit. I says, listen, my son, his name's Joe, and I said, Joe, listen, when I broke in, Greg Gagne brought me in a room and said, if you tell anybody our secrets, you will never work again, and we'll make sure of it. So kayfabe was highly enforced. Now, that was October 84. So to go a step further, I says, listen, there is a thing between the guys, the boys, Joe, and I'm telling this to all guys, not just my son, is we take like an oath that if you fuck one of the boys around, if you what I'm really trying to say is if you're in court and one of the boys is on the stand, would you lie for him? Damn right I would. I'd lie for him in a second because he's one of the boys.
Right.
Now, if it's on a rape charge or some shit like that, that's different. But I'm talking about like a money deal or where now this guy might have a heavy consequence. You're damn right. I'm like, no, sir, he did not do it. And that's the best way I can say it. It's because fuck the Cauliflower Alley Club, they gave me they bought me a scooter, because I didn't know if I was going to lose my life. I still don't know, but $4,500,
Yeah. Don't
ask nothing. Just said, John, we just want your life to get better. That's how unconditional love they are, So, and I didn't even know they existed.
That's cool, man. I've heard they've done some good stuff for some of the boys.
Believe me, they're off the hook. They are off the hook. They sent Lenny Denton $1,800 when he was on his ass, and then they, on top of the scooter, they sent me $1,000. And I mean, it's just the point of it is it's the heart. And Brian Blair, I met Brian a couple of times, but he's the CEO of it. I never was a big fan of Brunty and Brian Blair. I was never a big fan of them. I always thought they were kind of weak kids. But turns out Blair's the greatest guy in the world. He sends me this money, and of course Jimmy Brunzell's a freaking altar boy. He's just a little Jimmy Catholic, and who I love to death. I love Jimmy Brunzell, and I love Brian Blair. I just didn't know Brian, and we think the same politically and the whole deal. So now I really like talking to him. But the main thing is the heart of them guys giving me that made me cry, literally.
I believe it. You wouldn't be a good-hearted human if you didn't.
Yeah, that's right. And it was Brunzy always laughs. He always says, tell me that one story that you told that kid in the locker room. I said, which one? He said, the one with the leapfrog. I said, oh, that one. So anyways, Brunzy always liked this story. I said, this kid that I can't remember his name, but he comes up to me, and I've been wrestling maybe 4 years. He goes, Mr. Nord, I'm really nervous about going out there tonight. We're at the St. Paul Civic Center. He goes, can you give me any advice? Or is there anything that happened to you that was bad? I said, no. I said, yeah, maybe there is. I see Brunzy looking at me in the corner of my eye. I said, yeah, maybe there is something that happened. I says, I take this guy, I start chopping him, I back him into the ropes, I chop him again, I throw him across to the other ropes, I go to leapfrog him, and it ain't that I didn't get high enough, because everybody knows I can jump 7 feet in the air. That fucker didn't get low enough. And his forehead hit my nuts. And the guy goes, oh, you're shitting me. I said, then you know what happened? The guy goes, no. I said, my nuts came around, hit me in the back of the head, knocked me out cold. I mean, it's a silly story, but everybody in the locker room fell down. And then Jake always tells the story where I shit on the wall in Miami, like 30 feet away. That was a class act. Another class act of John North. He said it looked like a bucket of brown paint was getting poured out.
Oh my
Holy
God.
crap.
And everybody left the locker room and went to the next locker room. And this was Miami 92. Yeah, and it stunk so bad from Plastidills, Valiums, beer, Klonopin. Yeah, A to Z, and it just stunk so bad. And guess what I did? I said, fuck, I don't want to get fired. I went and started wiping it up going, oh, I'm sorry, you guys here. I was afraid that Vince, word got back to Vince, Nord shit all over the wall, and it stunk so bad we had to leave. But I was okay. I didn't get fired.
And now a word from our sponsor.
What's up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Football season is heating up, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action while watching football. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win real cash on your lineup. Prize Picks even invented the Flex Play, so you can still cash out if one of your picks doesn't hit. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match players from different sports. Real money sports action while watching football.
Download the Prize Picks daily fantasy app today and use code FIELD and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code FIELD on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the new generative AI assistant from AWS. Many tasks can make business slow, like wading through mud. Help! Luckily, there's a faster, easier, less messy choice. Amazon Q can securely understand your business data to help you streamline tasks, like summarizing quarterly results or doing complex analyses in no time. Q got this. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
Listen, this Portland deal, when I say it's probably going to be my last, I'm not just saying that for promotional stuff or anything. I think it is just because I'm looking at the suitcase of all this shit I got, and most of it 8x10. Some,
you got any of them AWA Remco figures?
The Remco?
Yeah, the first figure.
The Remco, my younger brother's got a mint Remco, but it's like $6-8 grand, and you won't let me touch it.
Yeah.
But here's what my kids did let me know they had.
Okay.
They let me know they had the fur boots, not the boots, but the fur.
Okay.
And they also let me know, here's a big one. Here's the biggie that I don't like saying, because my kids ain't going to give this shit up unless I'm on my deathbed or something.
Right.
The Brody contract. $250K a year, 140 nights a year. Yeah, they said it's yellow. It's yellow. It's curled up, all that, and that's in there. And there is action figures. I don't know, whatever. They're pretty common, but I think they were after Remco and
the Hasbro.
They were
Berzerker figure.
Yeah, well, the Hasbros, but yeah, it's okay. I don't know. I think they put my head on Duggan's body or his body.
I think you're right. I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of pretty hokey, but it was those were some great years. We hit it so hard, but Portland The only guy I would even do this for would be Lenny Denton, the grappler, and Nick, and you guys. Wolfie D, it was nice to meet you and all that.
You too, man.
And,
you too.
Thank you, John.
I'll be friends now with you guys for the rest of my life, hopefully. If you ever need a free podcast, I got so many more frickin' stories.
I love it.
It's beyond the pale. Yeah, so I just got to avoid the leapfrog spots and I'll be fine.
Yeah. We don't want the nuts hitting you in the back of the head.
But I'm trying, in case any of the fans are listening, I'm looking in this. Oh, I got two Hasbro dolls that are really old, but in nice shape. And because I've had them since 91 or 2. And then all these, I got a picture of me in wrestling camp. I got a poster of Worldwide Wrestling School, 1984. Me, Rick Steiner, and a couple other guys on the poster. That'd be a good one, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll raffle it off and give it to whoever needs it the most.
Well, I hope you make a ton of money.
That's what I was fixing to say. I hope you make a ton of money. We almost said it.
I hope you know it's me, right? I hope you guys know I need it most, right? No,
yes, sir.
I understand.
I
understand.
Yeah, no, we'll crank it up. I'm excited about it. But this will be fun, and it's coming quick. You know?
Yeah,
soon. Yeah, February 26th.
Do you guys think it's gonna? Let me ask you. Do you guys think it's gonna be a good showing?
I think it's gonna be huge.
You think You think a lot of people are gonna show?
I do.
Yeah. I do too. I mean, because as popular as Portland wrestling was, you know, and this being like, because from what I understand now,
right,
that nobody's hit that area with that kind of nostalgia in a while. You know, all these conventions are up north, you know, in the Northeast. Nobody's hit over there.
Big time.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, I would think, I think of Vernonia in the Midwest where there ain't no people. It's all frickin' desert, you know, it's all,
flat
frickin' cornfields and shit. Yeah. But then I think Portland's a little different because you got Washington and this, that, and the other. And it's the first time it's ever been done. So I got a feeling it's going to be really good. Nick said the advance was good.
Awesome.
And that makes me feel really good. And I think it's going to be awesome. And I think we're going to catch everybody by surprise. And they'll be saying, did you hear about that Portland one? Man, they drew some people.
Yeah.
I just hope like hell you guys advertise us enough.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we will. We're sharing it. Yeah.
We're out there.
Yeah.
They'll hear us.
This
cool, man.
Okay.
Again, very glad.
Well, good. Guys, Jimmy and Wolfie D. Jimmy and Wolfie D. You know, I think I thought I seen you guys standing on 4th and Hennepin last night dressed in women's clothing, but I can't quite remember.
That was not us, but
was that you guys?
It could have been.
I thought it was. You guys setting me up, man. Listen, it'll be fun. And feel free to call me anytime, you guys. I'm the easiest fucker in the world to talk to. Yeah, I love shooting the shit.
Well, good, man. Hell, I don't do much either, but sit around. But thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Great
You're welcome.
You're fun.
You're welcome,
man.
Yeah, means a lot.
Yeah, no, Wolfie D, Jimmy, God bless you guys, man. I'll be in touch.
All right, take care.
Here we come, Portland, baby. Here we come, Portland. Bye.
Yes, sir.
All right, and we'll be right back with Ask Wolfie D Anything. Although I don't know that we can top any of that shit right there.
Not one bit, but DJ, hit the music. All right, we are back with Ask Wolfie D Anything. And man, John Nord.
Man, he's crazy, man. In a good way.
Yeah.
I'd love to hang out with him.
Oh, my gosh.
Have you ever
absolute nut, man? He's hilarious.
Have you ever known anyone like him, like in your crew?
I mean, I met all kinds of characters, man. He's one of the good characters.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously there's no one individually like him, but yeah, I know people like him, but he's pretty up there, man. With a great storyteller, and
oh my gosh, and like just so brutally honest. He's just got that I don't care, man. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
I have no worries about any repercussions for this. They can come at me if they want, but
exactly.
Yeah.
I was just there for the party, man.
Yeah. Like literally. Constant keggers.
I felt that one. That one.
Did you?
Yes, I felt that.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, dude, but once you think about it, once something that maybe you like or love becomes work, then you would only be there for the good times at that point, it's like, well, the need for money took my love for this. Let's see what I can do on the weekend to get rid of that. But anyway, but we got some good questions, and definitely thank you, Captain Nick, for this run of great guests, man. But I don't know, John Nord. That might be the cherry on the top, man. But anyway, or maybe the whole cake. Who knows? But so great. Thank you, Nick, as always, man. But okay, so our very first question on Ask Wolfie here is from Kevin Heron, and he always asks some good questions. And so he asked this question. He says, "Who was the toughest guy you were ever in the ring with?"
In the ring with? There's a lot of guys, man. And like John was talking about that, who's to say who's tough till you really,
try them on.
Yeah. I mean, because I've been in the ring with Kurt Angle, a fucking Olympic gold medalist. I've been in the ring with Brock Lesnar. I've been in the ring. I always told you I thought Perry Saturn was a tough one, man. I mean, Tracy Smothers, and we were talking about Billy Jack Haynes earlier.
George Weingroff, man.
Weingroff. I mean, different types of tough, I guess, But there's more tough guys in the wrestling business than you think, especially back in the day,
Yeah, definitely. Danny Davis. I mean, we know he can shoot,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. So, I don't know that I could say one specific person that I've been in the ring with. There's a lot of them I would want to fuck with.
I mean, and even though John was kind of saying, Mike, if he gets a lucky shot in, he's going to win. But like, Hawk, man, I mean, you were in the ring with Hawk,
Yeah.
I still will never not believe he's one of the toughest guys ever, even though, I mean, maybe there are tougher guys, but whatever, man. But okay, that makes sense. I mean, you had a crew of dudes that were definitely some rough guys. So, I mean, Brock Lesnar might be the one, but again, in that instance, had he decided at that point in his career where he's so young and so just ridiculously strong, had he decided to turn it into a shoot, I mean, so, okay, this opens up a good question here. Okay. So do you remember any of your matches with him at all? Or I think there were some
just tag matches, and it might have only been one. I can't recall.
Well, and was it just basic stuff? You feel like you're just like, okay, this guy doesn't know much, but he's like got so much upside, or
not super basic at all.
Okay.
Nah. I always, even if somebody's green, I'm gonna try to do what I can, and that, I think that would speak, for me to whomever is booking me at that, Jim Cornette. That's me going, hey, I can work with anybody, I wouldn't want to go out there and dumb it down just for the sake of that, unless I absolutely had to. But, he was athletic and everything. So,
Well, okay. That's cool, man. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, that answers that question and an extra question, I guess. But anyway, so the next question is from Marty Confetti on Twitter. And he asked this, and this is, again, I broke Wahoo's egg. That's my favorite X, handle there. So anyway, it says, when was the last time you talked to Marcus Pistorius?
God, probably Well, I know for sure it was my last night at Crossfire.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever the hell that was.
Yeah. So the last time you saw him was the last time you worked for him, right?
Yeah.
And would you say that it was ended on a good note, or just kind of a?
Nah, I didn't ever really care for him.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That makes
I always
sense.
thought he was a little shady, and I thought he had a beef for me for some reason. I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's like he books you, but he also wants to get rid of you or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always fun. Gotta love working for those guys. I always kind of felt that way about Bert. It was like Bert was me. I always felt that way with Bert. I'm sure you didn't, but I did. Like,
sometimes.
It's like, who brought you here? And I've got to talk to them after this, you know? It's like, what did I do? Was my fly down or something? Anyway, yeah, okay. All right, well, thank you for that question. I broke a Wahoo's egg. That didn't go far. So, okay. So I guess this question is from Graham Milano on Facebook. And he's asking, which did you like more, the Cyberpunks or the Nation of Domination?
I guess Nation of Domination. I mean, with that, but I enjoyed doing the Cyberpunks too, and I created those costumes, and that was my idea, and and Nation of Domination. Now, if he's talking about like the WWF version, yeah, it was cool, but we didn't really wrestle,
right. So it's like, okay. Payday. Yeah, you get all the wrestling you want. You get to create the gimmick. But it's still in USWA. Or you have no control over anything, and you get to do your little rapping thing that y'all kind of have already been doing anyway. But you get to do it in the WWE. But you're not getting to wrestle much. So which it's like, which do you pick there?
Yeah, and we did have, like I told you before, we had a little say so and shit because they knew. We'd throw in our bumps and stuff,
Sure.
And be able to do a little extra.
Yeah.
Because we could, and they knew we could. And I told you I'd made that suggestion to Vince about diving in the car window of the limousine.
Yeah.
And, can you do that?
Can you pull that off, pal?
I can. I fucking can.
Even if you couldn't have, would you at least tried and said you could? Oh, I can definitely.
Well, I would have never dreamed it up if I didn't think I could do it.
Sure. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Because I feel like I do that to myself all the time. It's like, hey, Jimmy, I think it'd be kind of cool to jump off the house. No, never. All right, Graham. Well, that's the answer for that one. And thank you all very much. That's all I got, Wolfie D. So.
Cool, man. Who knows what we got next week, but I hope everybody really enjoyed that. I hope your cheeks are sore or your sides are sore.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because that was some good stuff, man. Real good stuff.
Definitely.
So tune in next week, and I don't know. We don't know if we can follow that one, but we'll try.
We'll do our best.
Still live and in color on the Wolfie D. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. You got a cap for your dome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Boom! I said, this is Handsome Jimmy, professional wrestler, the Boogie Woogie Man. Come on, people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss this one. It's Wrestling Talk with Mayor McCall. Yes, baby. Be there or be square. Oh, yeah.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Boudica and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
Hey everybody, Gene Jackson here, inviting you to check out the Retro Wrestling Review, where each week I'm joined by some great co-hosts who help me review classic episodes of USWA Championship Wrestling, and right now we are doing week-by-week reviews of 1993. But we don't just do reviews, sometimes we get a chance to interview some of the people who were there and lived it, plus do watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun, so check out new episodes that drop every Wednesday at WrestleCopia.com, and to find links to everything associated to the podcast, you can go to uswapodcast.com.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WLFE. I'm on Instagram at Warren Wolf 13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at James Rock Street on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for your dome. He got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome. He got a cap for your dome. He got a cap for your dome. And here we go. The original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth. Still livin' in color. From rush your mother, utilize a hubcap unlike any other. Back in the day, I was NOD, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. In case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D. Been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip-hopping. Been doing it like this since 92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or Vader. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. With my finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. I'm gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.